Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I have a balanced rack, no duplicates. I can't see a bingo. I'd like to get rid of the W as it's my least bingo-y tile. So, how to achieve that? Well, I guess I can play Worm for 18. Slightly vowel heavy. Through an A, I would have detainee. I can't see a 7 with this rack. I've got the weed suffix. Can't see anything with that. Now the R looks quite good with this rack, as does the M. But I'm not seeing a bingo. I've got no scoring tiles. So I'm not going to be able to score very much with this rack unless my opponent provides an A or another floater for a bingo. I've got DWEEB if my opponent changes. Probably better underneath Worm. Worm takes an S and a Y at the end and nothing in front. Wow, there is the A, but it's not quite in the right position for detainee. Now, what about the T and the E? Well, the E, not promising. What about the T? Well, not that I can see. So, this was the move I was thinking about. D for 15. Not a great score. One possibility would be to play ident in column 12. Let me see what that looks like. It doesn't take an S. So this is ident for 21. It's not giving a huge amount away. The play of DWE opened up the possibility of a good score above EM. Yeah, I think this is slightly better. The rack leave E is a lot worse than EINT, but I'm getting 6 more points. Great, I draw the first blank. Rest of the rack not fabulous. Although I do have Juve on my rack, which should enable me to get rid of all 3 non-bingo-y tiles, albeit at the expense of retaining the duplicate A. But that's not a disaster, especially when you have the blank. I'm currently leading by 12 points, so quite a tight game. AE takes nothing after it, which is another reason why ident was attractive, because it's not providing a huge amount of opportunity for my opponent, and it's taking out the S hook for Yate. Now, can I play in row N, getting my J tripled? Well, I've got jute, but to play jutes I would need to use my blank, and I don't wish to do that because the score doesn't justify it. At the moment, Juve plays in row I, and I don't have an alternative spot for it. $34 points for my opponent. My Juve spot remains, but it's not a particularly high scoring spot. However, this is better. Juve for 33. I can play it above or below the the F, but playing it below, it doesn't get doubled and it opens up row O. So I think this is a better placement. Juve for 33. Great, I don't add to my collection of A's. I've got Amoebi on my rack, which plays in row I, making WE. What else do I have? The floating R of Wormy looks useful. Amoebi will not score very much and it will open up column 1, so it would be nice to find something better. And your play through the R is not, or through any of the floaters of Wormy, is not going to score very much. However, is there a play through R which doesn't end in R and therefore doesn't open up row A? So I'm imagining this rack with an R. Not seen anything so far. Still nothing. Amoebian through an E. Can't see anything with the R of Wormy. Okay, so at the moment, all I've got is Amoebi rather. Now, what about amoebas with an S at the end rather than an E? If that's good, I've got it in row G, ending above the O, and therefore not opening up column 1, so it would be a better play. I think it's good. Yes, it is. Opponent taking a while with this move. Could be close to a bingo. Now, the other point to note about amoebas is that not only does it play in row G, but it also plays in row N. So I should be bingoing. It's possible both of my bingo lanes will be blocked by a play in column 5. But that's likely to create new lanes. So I'm hopeful of bingoing. Well, row G almost, or row I almost blocked, row G not blocked. Now this is fantastic because Quip takes an O at the end, and that is just perfect. What a glorious day. Amoebi for 105. Fantastic. And a bad pickup. However, I am 80 points in the lead. And I do have a vowel, so this could have been worse. Keepo takes nothing in front. So the obvious spot to play is Clow in row I, making woe and ow. It doesn't score very much, but it sorts the rack out. There are very few scoring spots on this board, so there's a good chance row I will be taken or obstructed by my opponent. I don't think there are any 8s with this rack. If there were, it's likely to be through a vowel. Okay, opponent does obstruct my spot for Clow and only scores 4 points, which is good. Roll takes a T in front of the tiles I've got. I'd like to play off a C and W. Can't see a way of doing that. Just looking around for other scoring spots. I've got Klopp. 22 points. Not great. If I do place my T in front of roll, then there's the stroll extension available. And it's possible my opponent has taken such few points, or made a move with such few points, because his 4-letter rack leave was pretty fabulous. At the moment, if he plays in row F, it won't be a high-scoring bingo, but if I open up row E, it'll score a lot more. So do I play Klopp? I'm minded to. 22 points. I'm retaining the T for troll. And I'm not seeing anything better. Great, I draw 2 vowels, which is pretty good when you're retaining four consonants. And I draw the X, which is a good scoring tile, and I have no duplicates. So it's a fair way from being a bingo-y rack, in that there are no 7s and no 8s. Wow, just 11 points for my opponent. But this rack still has merit. It would have more merit if there was a scoring spot for my X. If I could get rid of my W and X, the remaining tiles would be pretty bingo-y. But it's a struggle to see where I can play either of those tiles. So what do I have which goes in front of roll? It's just the T. Now if I play Tex or Tix, then I'm creating a 7-letter bingo lane ending in S, when my opponent has pretty much fished the last 2 moves. However, he may not have a bingo. £31 points. And a horrible rack leave. Exit forces or takes away the lane for a 7-letter play ending in S. The S can still play in front of troll, but only towards the beginning of a word. I'm providing an overlap spot for my opponent. However, one overlap can pave the way for another. And I think scoring spots for non-bingos benefit me more than my opponent, especially when I'm retaining scoring tiles. Okay, long enough. Wow, I draw the second blank, I draw vowels, so pretty lucky. I don't have a bingo here. However, it's a nice looking rack. And in terms of short Z plays, I've got cuz and was. Great. Opponent closes down the board, which is fantastic, having opened up the top of the board with roll. Bad has completely shut it down. Nothing goes in front of DI. And I can play was here for 33, providing just the W as a floater, which is pretty useless. And that is a good looking rack. I think I should be bingoing here. I've got Case Worm in column 10 onto the M. Do I have anything through the W? I've got Crow Ears with the blank as a W as a 7. Row I also available for bingos ending with L. Okay, so Case Worm still playable. Do I have anything through the G? Well, I have Soccer and Corsages. Soccagers and corsages. Do I have anything ending with the G? It doesn't look very likely. The trouble with caseworm is it's opening up a triple in row A. And it doesn't score that much more than a play through the G. So with that in mind, I'm inclined to play Soccagers. For 61. And that's a pretty good pickup. Great, just the 30 points for my opponent, 20 tiles in the bag. I've got the H for going next to the C. So I could play Nosh. Still 2 S's to come. And 2 N's to come, which is why I'd quite like to split up the N's. The S is not a particularly useful tile on this board. Just wondering if I can get the play doubled. I can. I was going to say I can with Snash, but SA not good. So the choice is between playing something like, or playing OH, keeping Sani, playing Nosh. I'm inclined to play Nosh partly to expedite the end of the game. It scores more, it splits up the duplicate N. The S, not a particularly useful tile on this board. Difficult to see anywhere for it. And 34 points is a nice score. Great. Through an, or beginning with an E, I would have Egyptian. Through an R, I would have partying. The N is not a particularly useful letter for starting a bingo, so I'm not too bothered about sticking that out there. And SO not available for bingos. So the bingo lanes on this board are column 10 ending with the M or going through the M, and row C going through the N. And possibly column 9 for a play ending SER. That would open up row A. Now, opponent has opened up a new lane in row E. And only 7 points, which is great. $14 tiles left. So what I could do is Gapey. 27 points, decent score. Gapey not particularly useful because for my opponent, because Grim takes nothing in front, so I'm not opening up a bingo lane in row D. Gapey takes nothing after it. So all I'm providing is a floating Y for bingos with a Y in precisely 5th place. Not very likely. Not good at all. Through a C, I would have Cotinine. I don't have anything through the Y, nothing beginning with the N. Just a pretty rubbishy rack. However, it is comprised of bingo-y tiles, which are denied my opponent. And I do have a 170-point lead, which is fantastic. Only 13 points for my opponent. He's struggling. So, what can I do here? 8 minutes on my clock. This board is really tight. It's been tight for most of the game. I'm sufficiently far ahead that the game is won. What about a play parallel to Gapey? So I can play non in this spot. I could play non-I, but non-I takes an S. So I don't want to do that, given that there are two S's out there. The rack leave here is vowel heavy. It is keeping duplicates. There are 7 vowels left out of 16, so slightly consonant heavy. But this isn't providing much for my opponent. There are 3 A's and an A can go in front of NY, but that's just going to be a parallel play, spreading a ladder up to the top right, which is fine by me. Great, I dodged the remaining I's. Rack still not great. I do have an A for any. Through a V, I would have tidivate. Still 1 V to come. I note that my opponent's play of fax has taken out row C as a bingo lane for bingos beginning with N. However, the right-hand side of row C available for bingos overlapping non. Ah, unlucky, tidivate, just 1 square out. That's a shame. Except, do I have... No, I don't have additive. I had in mind that tidivate has an anagram, and I think, yes, it does. It is vitiated, but again, that doesn't go. I can see the remaining tiles. My opponent's got 7 of these. Quite bingo-y, but it's not a bingo-y board. And I don't think the V is particularly useful for my opponent. 6 minutes on my clock. It's a real struggle to find anywhere to play on this board. Any play through the V is going to open up valuable bingo lanes. Any play in column 3 is going to leave me with 2 I's. Okay, so what about playing div here for 22? I draw a scoring tile in the H. Can't see anywhere for my H to play particularly well. I guess it goes next to SO. But the real problem with me using column 3 is that there's nowhere for either of my I's. So I haven't seen any attractive plays in column 3. Now, can I get my H tripled in row B? I don't think so. So I've got a 190-point lead, which is pretty good. Opponent quite possibly sitting there with a bingo on his rack. I can't see anything that he's got that would go through the V. I guess column C also available for plays going through the I. Sop and Anna being good. But a bingo for my opponent is not going to be enough for him to win the game. I haven't seen any candidate moves at all for myself. But that's fine. That suggests the board is super tight, and since I'm ahead, that is definitely to my advantage. My opponent must be struggling similarly. My H can go between op and I. So I could play Ahi, Hop and Anna. That would be opening up row B. However, this game is drawing to a conclusion. There are only 2 tiles in the bag. So my opponent has very limited opportunity for bingoing. Still one in out there. Chin and Neff available. And this is the sort of board this is. So few opportunities that even spotting a place like that for the N becomes comment-worthy. Okay, so opponent opens up a new bingo lane in row B. I can see what he's got. He's got these 7 tiles. So, does he have a bingo? Well, he has. He has got a bingo. He's got ranulars. But Roz is not good. And I don't think ranulars has an anagram. So, can I go out in 2 with this rack? 5 minutes on my clock. SOS takes nothing after it. What a grim board to be looking at. EDH is good. But I'm looking to go out in 2, but it's hard to see anywhere where I can play many tiles. Well, I guess I can play rate down here for 10 points. Not a great score. But the remaining 4 tiles are quite balanced. So I'm going with this. I haven't seen anywhere for my remaining 4 tiles. I don't think height is good, otherwise hose and height would be playable. I haven't got anything through the V. I could have spent a long time looking for an out in 2. It wouldn't have affected the outcome of the game. I've got 8 on my rack through a G, but that doesn't play. Just looking around for alternatives to rate on my last go, and I'm not seeing anywhere. It's just a grim board, but grimmer for my opponent. I've got Hive. It doesn't go out, but it scores well, 20 points. I couldn't have played that last turn without opening up row A for ranulars. 6 minutes on my opponent's clock. Ident certainly has done its job in this game. AE taking nothing after it really resulted in Ident shutting down the top right of the board until very late in the game. It made it much easier to control the board. Now Lava takes an E at the end. So I could play Het. My opponent's got Sun. So he could play sun and lava, sun and sods. He's definitely going out. So het for 27. Why hasn't that worked? Let's try it again. And opponent has sun. And probably has a choice of places. He can play sun and non, sun and soz. I don't think he can use the triple word square in the middle of the top row. And if for any reason he doesn't go out, do I have two outs with my I? I do, because LI is good, iOS is good, G and T is good. So, a whole range of possibilities. Nonny, of course. Four minutes on my opponent's clock, 3 on mine. That's the end of the game. And the final score, 274 to my opponent, 466 to me, a winning margin of 192 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go fast, and no bingos there. I went with worm, moan possibly slightly better. Opponent's rack, he plays Yate. And now I play Ident for 21, and I still like that. Opponent plays Fending. And I have Juve for 33. Opponent plays Quip, and that's a fantastic stroke of good fortune for me because I have Amoebi for 105. Opponent has Roll. So this is the point at which he played RLL for just 4 points. This was his rack. So he did leave a good rack with ADER. It just wasn't a fabulous one. And this was a rack I struggled with, and in the end I went with Klopp. Although Coombe, interesting as well. That rack leave of Klost is quite a bit better than CSTW. Only 6-point difference, and I would be obstructing row F, so I think Coombe has merit. No bingo for my opponent. Look at that, he kept Deer and he drew EET. So close to a bingo, not close enough. Plays double E. And this was a rack I struggled with. I thought about ticks and tecks and went with exit. Opponent in any event didn't have a bingo. And this was my rack. And I have Was, which was just great. Totally sorted the rack out. Provided nothing major for my opponent. I guess row H, slightly hot, but not massively so. Not that many high-scoring tiles go underneath you. Now, opponent does have a bingo. He has Outrage, nowhere for it. Plays Grot. Now, the words I saw were Caseworm and some of the bingos through G. What I didn't see was A9, Caruser, making exits and re. That is opening up row A for a 9-timer, a triple-triple. But 76 points, certainly the highest scoring bingo. I still like Socagers because of how dead the board is. Opponent's rack, he plays Q. And now all the way in from here, with 20 tiles in the bag, it's a matter of playing short words which keep the board tight and just about keep scoring. So Nosh, 34 points, a good score and providing very little. Opponent's rack, he plays Rim. Now I'm able to play Gapey for 27. Jip, B3. quite nice, but then that would leave open this bingo lane in row E, so I still like Gapey. Opponent's rack, he was certainly close to a bingo with that rack. He plays Fax. Now my rack is Grim, but I think non for 20 points is fine. Again, opponent close to a bingo, very frustrating for him. He's got no floaters to play through and hardly any bingo lanes, if any. He plays Viney, and I play Div. Opponent plays Oz. Now, I didn't think this was great. The bag's empty. There probably are some outs in 2. J13. Yeah, I think Thaggy would have been a good play. I think I probably could go out with tie. Maybe not. Anyway, I played Rate. The game was settled. Opponent doesn't have a bingo. He plays Lava. Wow, I do have an out. J2. Wow, Ethic onto the sea. Okay, well done if you spotted that. I didn't. I played Het for 10 more points. And then opponent, well, he had 17 available. And he got 7. And that was the end of the game. So great to be back to winning ways. Great to have a winning margin of nearly 200 points. And let's see if I can keep this up in all remaining games. So I hope you enjoyed watching that video, and I will see you next time.